Am I a leader? This question is asked to me a few times. I'm sure many people wanted to ask me, but they could not ask. I've written quite a bit about other leaders and leadership. And when you ask me the question, are you a leader? I will find it a little embarrassing to call myself a leader. I'm certainly an author, researcher, articulator. Am I a leader is something I suggest you decide. But I have no intentions to be called as a leader. I'm quite happy to be acknowledged as a person who was responsible for building some institutions. In 1983, I was offered the Larsen Toubro Professor of HRD at XLRI. I already had earlier an offer for a chair professorship in another institute, and Ravi Mathai, my colleague at IIM, thoroughly discouraged me by saying, "You're too young. At this age, if you take up a chair professorship all your life, you will be only looking for other chairs and you will end up becoming a chaired professor." So I was not all that keen to be a chair professor, but the reason why I agreed for XLRI was that I had a long-term desire to start a center for HRD. I proposed the same for IIM Ahmedabad in the Committee for Future Directions, but they didn't think that it is time for a center to be established there. So I expressed my desire to Father D'Souza. I said, if you allow me to start a center for HRD, then I'll pick up the L&T chair professorship. I went to XLRI, started the Center for HRD, made a few corporates as members, ran a few programs, and even started the first national conference on HRD, which gave birth to HRD Network. This is the story between 1983 and 85. And 1985, when I decided to come back to Ahmedabad, IIM Ahmedabad, I passed on the leadership role to Father Abraham. And I think the rest of it is the history on the Center for HRD at XLRI. Large number of things have happened. So I can proudly say this is something which I have contributed. But the most important thing that I have contributed, which is widely acknowledged, is the National HRD Network. From the time it is conceptualized, in fact, I would like to pride myself by saying that I am the mischievous conceptualizer, conceiver of the National HRD Network. Although the Namkaran was done by Rajan Gupta, but the idea of starting an association to help people learn from each other and to promote HRD as a philosophy, as a way of thinking, as a set of integrated systems was conceptualized much earlier, but operationalized in 1985 February seminar at Sea Rock Hotel, which was jointly organized by Center for HRD and Larsen and Toubro. I think from the time we decided to start the National HRD Network in 1985, I went on doing a large number of things. I think 1985 to almost 1989, about a 4-year period, is a very crucial period of conceptualizing, nurturing and building National HRD Network. I think a number of things we have done are well documented in the HRD newsletters, as well as in some of the articles Uday Parikh and I have written. For 1.5 years I was trying to register it, and after that for almost 2 years I was the president. I called myself president, Father Abraham as the secretary, and we started the accounts in State Bank of India, IIM Ahmedabad, and made members, circulated free membership and so on. Large number of things we have done. So National HRD Network, I think the seeds were sown, and not only being the first president, but making sure that the philosophy, values and the systems that we started in the first National HRD Network conference continued by making the right person as the president. We were fortunate to have MRR Nair as the second president, and then Uday Parikh as the third president. I think these three people made wonderful kind of things. When I say three, it means Father Abraham, M.R.R. Nair, Uday Parikh, and of course there are many others who uh, made the solid foundations of National HRD Network. But making these things happen is not small. There are a large number of things. And we started, I think in 1990, when we realized that National HRD Network as a professional body has limitations and they can only do certain things. We felt the need for an educational institution to promote HRD, to teach HRD, and to become an international center for research and education as HRD. And that is how we started thinking of the Academy of Human Resource Development. We organized a mission vision workshop facilitated by V.S. Mahesh and Anil Sachdev, M.R.R. Nair, Uday Parikh, P.R. Murthy, and a large number of others were present in Madras. And this resulted in conceptualization of the Academy of HRD. Namkaran for this was done by M.R.R. Nair, Uday Parikh, Keith D'Souza, Father Abraham, Rakesh, from now who is now at Bhilai, all of us at Bokaro Steel Plant. This was in the year 1990. Narayan Sheth facilitated my involvement in it while continuing as a professor. I must tell my friends who are asking me the question, are you a leader? Why didn't you pick up the directorship of IIM Ahmedabad? Well, at IIM Ahmedabad, I had done a number of things. I was chairman, the second chairman of the Public Systems Group. First, of course, I started as coordinator of the Education Systems Group with Ravi Mathai and Uday Parikh, and we did a number of things, including bringing out the first book on managing institutions, institution building in education and research. I will not go into those details, but 1985, when I returned back from XLRI to IIM Ahmedabad, I was asked to review the PGP curriculum. There was a committee of 6 of us, and I think we did a marvelous job. Many times people talk of transformational change. I think the way the PGP was transformed at the time through the help of a committee consisting of Professor Kuchal, Professor Balakrishnan, Professor Uma Srivastava, myself, and a few of the alumni and others is a remarkable kind of accomplishment. It was not only that we designed a new curricula, a new way of looking at the postgraduate program. For 6 months we were reviewing the management education across the world and presented a new set of objectives, got the faculty approval, and later worked on the details and presented a detailed report, PGP Review Committee report. To the extent I know, I think the way this entire committee was discussed and almost in toto accepted by the IIM faculty, which rarely accepts anything as it is a remarkable kind of an accomplishment. The institute asked me to implement the committee report, and I took over as PGP chairman and implemented that. I think it was around this time, as soon as I finished my PGP chairmanship, there was a role of the new director for IIM Ahmedabad. Narayan Sheth term was over, and there was a search committee with Dr. Krishnamurthy and PVR and Iyer and Ashoka Chandra and a few others, but these are the 3 prominent members. They were interviewing the IIM faculty for their interest in directorship. When they asked me, why don't you consider to be the director, my frank response was, no sir, I don't think that I am the right person. I am not very surprised why I gave that response. I genuinely felt that there are better people in the institute. In fact, I had in mind Professor Pradeep Khandwala, and I suggested that Pradeep will make a very good director. He articulated the vision for the institute. He is very straightforward and very well educated, respected, and so on. So I strongly recommended him. It is at this point I kept thinking, why did I say this? I think I believe this in what I have said. To be the director of an institute like IIM Ahmedabad requires not only some good qualities of vision, etc., but the most important quality is to speak up, stand up and speak, have a point of view, stick to the point of view, and argue it, even if other people don't agree. Now I have a problem. I consider myself very empathetic to people. I cannot easily manage opposition, in the sense that if somebody doesn't agree with me, I have sleepless nights trying to figure out how to convince him, because I understand his point of view or her point of view, and I think that makes me take all the tension on myself. So to be the director of an institute requires taking all stakeholders with you, and I am too much stakeholder driven, and if I have to take all stakeholders with me, I'll be spending most of my time empathizing with them, not arguing with them, understanding their point of view, convincing them, and if I'm failed, take up the tension on myself. So I didn't think that I will make at that point of time a better director as compared to Pradeep Khandwala, who had all the qualities for it. So I very formally suggested, and I don't say that it is my suggestion, but certainly I think I didn't bid for being the director. That is the last of it, because I never had an opportunity to be director of any IIM. And I'm not sure, even if somebody asked me, I would have accepted, because I certainly think director is a bed of thorns. And at the end of 5 years, it is very difficult for you to say, this is what I have done. While simply as a PGP Review Committee chairman, even today I feel proud of what I have done, whether people remember it or not. So this is a little bit of a story of my work and building Center for HRD at XLRI, the Academy of HRD, the National HRD Network. Today, if you ask anybody in the National HRD Network, I think 90% of the people of National HRD Network may not even know that Professor Rao is the founder of the National HRD Network. In fact, at one point of time, somebody wrote, Professor Rao is the founder of National HRD Network. Immediately, some of my colleagues who helped me to register commented that, look, National HRD Network has a culture of not calling anyone as a founder. You can only call yourself a co-founder because other people are involved. I think I felt a little ashamed of someone calling me founder and my accepting it. Although in the heart of hearts, I felt if there is one person who really mattered in establishing network, slogging all the years, making sure a whole lot of things, it was me. But it is not right to say that you are the founder, because when you say that, then you are nullifying the contributions of a large number of other people. No institution can be built by one person, although that person may be important in sowing the seed, nurturing it. But I think a large number of people nurture and make it happen. And that is the reason why you wouldn't find in the National HRD Network 90% of the younger generation, particularly Gen Z or even Gen Y, knowing that T.V. Rao was the person who was responsible for nurturing, sowing the seed, nurturing and then making it. But I think many of those who are associated with me between 85 and 95, those 10 years, or even 99, I think always acknowledge me. In fact, they call me father of HRD, which I humbly refuse and say that sorry, I think everyone is father of his or her own HRD. No single person can be father of any HRD. I think that is not right to call. I think I very genuinely feel that this is not the right kind of a thing to give. But it is nice of people to show this kind of a respect for me. So I don't accept it. But it's okay. I think if people derive some satisfaction out of it. Now I've talked a lot. Now I leave it to you to decide, am I a leader? I don't think that I'm a leader, but I'm certainly a person who is responsible for nurturing institutions. I hope you enjoy this video. Put your like if you liked it. Thank you very much for your patience.